Here is an example of a finished light pattern with a decent amount of complexity. You can see that it has several different patterns that I have created, and I have also made them into functions in my code. And I will provide the finished code for this light pattern in the description of this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a cool light pattern without a breadboard. Today you're going to need some wire strippers. You could use scissors, but it'd be much more of a challenge. You're going to need some jumper wires. In this case, you're going to need the male to female jumper wires. You're going to need an Arduino Uno or a knockoff Arduino with its AB cable and a bunch of LEDs. Some optional materials are cardboard, which I'm going to be using to keep my LEDs organized, and a hot glue gun, which I'm going to be using to attach my LEDs to my cardboard. The first thing you're going to want to do is take your jumper wires and separate them. I have them here. Since I'm going to light up 14 LEDs with this circuit, I have a total of 15 wires that I have left the male ends on, and I have removed and then stripped off the female ends. I've also lined them up so that they're kind of looking like a paintbrush. And now I'm just going to take and I'm just going to twist this bunch of wires together really, really tight. I'm just going to keep twisting and twisting and twisting until I have something that looks like this. And then I'm going to fold it over on itself and twist even more if I can. So now I have a bunch of ground wires. And then again, I have these wires as well. And it's time to start wiring up our circuit. In order to do this, it's time to think about our code. In the description, I have provided you with this starter code, which is going to define 6 LEDs, set them as outputs, and then control them to blink sequentially. You can add as many LEDs as you want using this format. Go ahead and upload this code to your Arduino. Of course, I need to make sure that I select my port. This should be it. And then I upload. Okay, so now that my Arduino has its code loaded, I should wire my LEDs according to this. So I have one LED attached to pin 0, one to pin 1, one to pin 2, one to pin 3, one to pin 4, and one to pin 5. So my next step is going to be to actually think about how I'm going to organize my LEDs. And so I am going to pause here and I am going to create a little piece of cardboard that I'm going to insert my LEDs in so that I can keep them in order. Now that I've separated my wires, I've also put them into piles. These are the neutral colors, and then I also have the wires that are just bright colors. I like to separate them because I'm going to use my neutral colors for the ground. And so my next step is going to be to take all of my neutral wires, or my wires that are going to be used for ground, and I'm going to take my wire cutter and I'm going to take off the female end. And I'm going to strip the wire, leaving about 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to do this for all of the wires that I need. I need a total of however many LEDs I am going to put in my circuit plus 1. Okay, I've cut out a piece of cardboard and I have decided on where I want to place my lights so I can create an interesting pattern. And my next step is going to be to start labeling my light locations. So for example, I'm going to label this corner light B1, this second light B2, and so on. Poke holes in my cardboard with something sharp. In this case, I'm just using a pen. This way I'll be able to poke the LEDs through the holes. Start inserting the LEDs. I'm using all of the same color, and I think the easiest way to do this is just to put a little bit of hot glue on each of the holes. Oh, that's a lot. Ooh. Like this, and insert the LED into the hole like this. When you do this, be careful. It's easiest if you orient all of your LEDs the same direction so that you know, just based on the position of the LED, which side is going to be the long leg and which side is going to be the short leg. There we go. I have all of my LEDs installed, and it's time to start wiring them up. Now that I have my LEDs installed, the easiest way to attach them is just to make sure that I'm following the code. So I'm looking at my numbering system, and on my numbering system, this is B1. So I'm going to insert the female end of my jumper wire onto the LED leg, and then I am going to plug it into the corresponding pin on my Arduino. So let's go have a look. So blue one is going to be plugged into pin 0. And so I went ahead and plugged blue 1 into pin 0. And then blue 2 is going to be plugged into pin 1. Blue 3 is going to be plugged into pin 2. Blue 4 is going to be plugged into pin 3. Blue 5 is going to be plugged into pin 4. And blue 6 is going to be plugged in to pin 5. And I'm going to keep wiring these according to the code. However, I haven't created the next set of code. So let me go and do that. I'm going to copy this, paste it. This would be blue 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, and these are going to be attached to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I'm going to have a 13 as well. So let me do that. Okay, so now that I know my numbering, I can finish wiring. So one of the issues you'll run into with this method is that some of your jumper wires will want to slip off of your LED legs. And you really got to try to prevent that, because when that happens, you can lose track of your numbering and it can become a little bit annoying. And so what I do is, if I know I'm going to use this as a prototype or I'm going to use it for a minute, I just clamp down the jumper wire onto the leg of the LED with pliers, or in this case, just the end of my wire strippers like this. And if I do that, now I can tug on, I didn't crimp that one very well. Now I can tug on my wire and I know it's not going to come off. Let me see. Now it's on there. So I'm going to keep wiring these up. B7 is going to go to number 6, P8 is going to go to 7. And that one wanted to slide off, so I'm going to crimp it. And then, keeping with the same pattern, the 9 goes on to pin 8. B10 goes on to pin 9. And again, every time it slips off, you're going to want to go ahead and clamp it on there. That one's on there. This one slipped off. Okay. Now my B11 is this one. Looks like that wire is also going to try to be slippery. Got 2 more to go. Pin 11 goes to B12. And my final one is going to go to B13. Okay, so now that I have all of these wired, all I need to do is add my ground wire. And one of the things that really confuses people is when you don't have enough ground wires or ground pins on your Arduino for the number of electronic components that you're trying to add. My light pattern is to go ahead and use my wire harness that I have created. So the first wire of the wire harness needs to go onto your ground pin on your Arduino. So if you did not add one wire that had a male end, you should go ahead and twist on one wire that has a male end now. I forgot to do that, so I'm going to do it now. I'm going to strip it, and then I'm going to twist it around very tight, and I am going to plug this one into GND. Now you can take all of the remaining wires from your wire harness and you can plug them into the other leg of each of your LEDs. And if you already have your code uploaded, you should start to see your LEDs light up according to your light pattern. This is the fun part. So there's one, there's another one. My LEDs are starting to light up. Now, if I remember right, I have only uploaded the code for my first 6 LEDs. I created the code for both, but I haven't uploaded the code for the remaining LEDs. So they are not going to light up until I upload that code. So let's see which lights I can get to light up here by installing this wire harness. There goes another one. It should be my first 6. Awesome. Okay, and of course it's a lot of jumbled wires, and I'm sure that the video is kind of hard to see, but you get the idea that you need to have a ground wire from your wire harness on the opposite leg of each of your LEDs. So I've almost got it. And also remember that if you have any LEDs where the ground wire is trying to slide off, I suggest that you use your pliers to pinch it. It can get really annoying if your LEDs start to slide off when you're trying to create fun patterns and you have your LEDs flipped over. It's even more annoying if you build them into something and then you have to try to troubleshoot it. So here we go. Here's the front of my piece of cardboard. And it's starting to look pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Let me go ahead and upload my code so I can have my final light pattern. Now it's important that you understand this. I have defined all of my LEDs up to LED number 13. It's called blue 13. But I have not finished the coding process here. So it's time to focus on finishing the coding process. I have finished through number 6, but for my light pattern, I need number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and for mine, I even need a 13. And in the same vein, I have only coded my LEDs 1 through 6 to have a function. So I need to add some commands for my LEDs number 7 through 13. I can type Control-T to auto format, and I went ahead and copied and pasted the line of code or the lines of code that cause my lights to light up. So here, I am going to quickly update this so that it includes all of my LEDs. And now it's time for the big reveal. Let's see. If I upload my code, what is my pattern going to be? Okay, it's time for the big reveal. Let's have a look. Here's my light pattern. I'm looking to see that all of my lights actually light up. And I'm watching closely, and it looks like all of them light up except this one. This is a good lesson in troubleshooting. Let's flip over and see if we can see what's going wrong. Look right here. I can see that my ground wire slipped off of this LED, and so it's not getting ground. It's time to squeeze this down so it won't fall off again. And now, awesome. So my pattern goes around and then around the 4 and then into the middle. What kind of pattern can you create? Here is an example of a finished light pattern with a decent amount of complexity. You can see that it has several different patterns that I have created, and I have also made them into functions in my code. If you look at my previous or earlier video, you'll see how I laid these out, and you'll see the numbering system that I have. And I will provide the finished code for this light pattern in the description of this video. So it's pretty interesting what you can learn just from coding different light patterns in Arduino. And then for my class, what I like to do is I like to have my students design what I like to call a geolamp. And so they make something out of cardboard that allows them to think creatively and artistically and create something from their lights. And I will show that in my next video.